What's up, y'all? We are back in the shop, and today we're going to take a look at the miter saw station that we built about 10 months ago and see how it's working out for us. Alright, y'all, we're going to start off at the very top of the miter saw station, and the first little section is where I keep most of the spray paints and any spray polyurethane that we might have. And over in the second one is just small cans of paint and some stain. And then in the third one is router bits and miscellaneous items. And then in that last one I have my bag that I keep my cable connection supplies and tools in, and my glue is back there in the back. So most of that stuff I don't use a lot. Most of that stuff stays up there pretty much all the time, and it's kind of tucked up out of the way too. That's the part I like about that stuff, is it's easy to get to and it's not really in the way when you don't need it. Alright, y'all, for the middle section of the miter saw station, we have the miter saw dust hood, and then we have these 5 drawers that we got to the left side of it. And this drawer's got all of our router bits. We got a few metal cutting bits, wood bits, and we got a set of Forstner bits, and also got some spade bits down there. Now the rest of these drawers are really not organized. We got some pencils, measuring tools, tape measures, and then we got some templates for some router projects. This drawer we got a few templates for some signs. Got some edge banding, iron zip ties. And then in this one I've got some extra drawer slides. And that drawer's just some shop rags and miscellaneous stuff. So anyhow, that stuff is not organized well, but you can see it will hold quite a bit of stuff. Alright, so over to the miter saw. So this is encased with just a piece of paneling on the front, and there's, I believe, 3 total screws holding this on. So the only time you have to take this off to do a cut is if you're doing a compound miter cut. Typically I don't do that. I might cut something on a 45 and I can leave it on. It doesn't get in the way with that. And then every few months I will take and vacuum the inside of that hood out. Matter of fact, it needs it now. And then on the right side of the hood, I have a spot for my framing squares. I use them kind of often, so that's handy. And I've just got a slot cut in it. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a spot in there that it just slides into. And now to the right of the miter saw, we have the sandpaper storage and a shelf that's got miscellaneous items and my glue. Really, the glue is the only thing I use off that regular. I would like at some point to replace that shelf with something that will hold my drills and my chargers a little better. Right now my chargers are on the windowsill on the opposite side of the shop, really an inconvenient spot because they're on the back side of the workbench. Then we have the shelf with the Kreg jigs and screws in it. This works out pretty good. It keeps the stuff out of the way. It's kind of an ugly shelf, but it works pretty good. Alright, y'all, now for the lower part of the miter saw station, we're going to start at the left side. And this top drawer is pretty much just tool accessories, base plates and stuff like that. Then in the second drawer, now this is some tools that I hardly ever use. Some I've never used, and then a few saw blades. Then the bottom two, these 2 drawers are pretty good for storing the bigger hand tools that you use, and it also gives them, you know, somewhere to go when you get through with them instead of just laying around somewhere. Alright, so one of the better things that I've done to the miter saw station is putting the planer on drawer slides. Now I did have to put some wheels out on the front of it, and the 2 doors on the front gives me access to the bottom shelf where I normally keep my dovetail jig, and then I got a few extra tags down there. But anyhow, I can access that when the planer is put up and out of the way, and it makes it real easy to pull it out and put it back under when you are using it. And that's something I don't use a lot either, so that kind of helps out. You don't have to drag it out and lug it around and pick it up because it's almost 100 pounds. All right, so one of the things I think I may change in the future is the 2 doors under the miter saw. I don't use those for nothing. All right, to the right of the miter saw, I've got 5 drawers, and some of this is kind of miscellaneous stuff. Got hammers in the top one. In the third one, we got nails and screws. And then we got some more framing nails in the fourth one. And in the bottom, got a sawzall and a framing hammer. And then on this end of the miter saw station, we got the spindle sander. I cut a hole out in the top. When you are cutting a long board on the miter saw and it extends all the way down here where these 2 tools are, it does not get in the way of them. The spindle on the sander sits far enough back that it does not interfere with the board you're cutting. And the table on the drill press normally stays at this height, so it's not in the way typically. And then up under the sander, there is 2 doors. Poor chisels. There's 2 doors that you can access the power to the spindle sander. It's a little inconvenient, but it's not too bad. I don't use it a lot. And then these 2 drawers below that is dowels and just miscellaneous wood. Then we got the drill press and a little bit of wood storage under that. So really, I'm not so sure I would change anything on it. I do want to add some drawers under the miter saw. I hope y'all enjoyed the video today, and maybe you could get some ideas out of this one if you was building you one. But anyhow, being able to put these 4 tools in the miter saw station helped free up the shop a lot. Mine is only 12 by 24 feet, so there's not a lot of room in here, and trying to save space was a big thing when I was planning out the miter saw station, and it's working out pretty good for me so far. I don't think there's anything on it that I would change. I would add a few drawers under the miter saw where the doors are, but other than that, it works out pretty good for me. So anyhow, if you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already, and I will see y'all on the next one.